Welcome to the Sleeping Barber podcast.
Sorry, listeners, for your ears there. I'm celebrating. Marc's back.
I'm back.
There he is.
Fresh off lung collapse.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We'll leave all of that for another episode because I think it totally requires an episode.
Just to list all my injuries.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it was a good one. I don't recommend hitting pavement with nothing but spandex on. It's not something I wish on anyone. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you're back, my friend. It's not the same without you here. So
it wasn't quite the same not being around. Let's get into the Sleeping Barber's brief, though. V. It feels like the first time for me almost. It's been out of cadence for the last little.
You have been a
weeks.
little bit out of cadence. You have been a little out of cadence. Let's see how rusty you are, though.
Okay. What do we do here?
Well, first of all, if you're a new listener around here, what Marc and I like to do is discuss things that are caught our eye over the last couple of weeks, because we do these every 2 weeks. We highlight a marketing moment, we discuss our ad of the week, and we just kind of jibber jabber a little bit.
Yep, I would say that's pretty accurate. The jibber jabbers part,
The jibber jabber. Awesome. So in the news is where we usually kick off, and I think I have the first news story today.
Let's do it.
All right. So creator economy mergers and acquisitions heating up. If you've been watching the creator economy at all over the last few years, you've probably noticed there's some subtle shifts. Something's shifting a little bit. So what started as a chaotic, decentralized space full of solo influencers quickly became, I don't know, you could argue organized. Business Insider just reported that we've seen 52 mergers and acquisitions in creator economy in just the first half of 2025. That's up 73% year over year. And it's not just the small players that are rolling up. So some of these big moves that the article highlights: Publicis acquired influencer platform Captivate, Fox investing in influencer-fueled media, private equity backing tech platforms like Uscreen, and Mavely, and even performance marketing firms trying to lock up creative services as well. So the question that the author kind of asks, so why now? Well, it's because the creator-driven marketing isn't just a side hustle anymore. There's a lot more meat to the bone. So it's a pipeline of audiences that traditional media still is struggling to reach. Platforms are starting to industrialize the messy middle of that creator economy or the creator partnership side, standardizing everything from contracts to conversions, I guess. So like giving them access to dashboards that they can give to their potential clients, etc. The biggest insight here is like the creator economy is maturing, and we're watching it move from that fragmented to a more formalized, just like e-commerce did back in the 2010s, if you remember, during what that was like at the time. And that means real money isn't just in creators, it's in the infrastructure around them. So when they join these larger networks, obviously there's economies of scale that they can achieve. Advertisers can likely reap more of the benefits of that. But there was one stat that kind of really stuck out for me, and it was more than 2.3 billion in deal volume has already moved through this pace, and we're only halfway through the year.
It's pretty wild. I keep seeing this the social media influencer. Oh, I think it's Mila Sofia. It's popping up all over my feed lately. And it's an AI influencer. She was at Wimbledon.
Amazing.
Wearing some fashion outfit. But it's interesting thinking about all the organization, like you said, that's happening around it. We were at Cannes and they were talking about the lots of littles. Like there's lots of little campaigns, lots of little, just little channels, but like campaigns are fragmented over so many audiences and segments and channels that it's really hard to produce. Everyone talks about authentic content, but real content. So I get the need because a lot of influencers can fit that bucket.
Agreed.
And organizing it has really become, I think, a really interesting component of that influencer economy or creator economy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I used to be somewhat in the, on the fringe, if you will, if I use a golf analogy on the whole creator economy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's kind of like the real deal here. So
yeah.
What did you find?
Well, brands similar in a way, related. Brands demand better retail media measurement, retailers say. It's not easy, but people are still spending more anyway. So this came from MI3. There's a study that was done out of IAB's Australia report. So they found that if you thought fragmentation was bad now, we'll just wait a bit.
Great.
It's gonna get worse.
Sign
So
me up.
70% of the Australian advertisers that they had surveyed, and the agencies included in that, increased spending on retail media this past year. That's up from 58%. In 2023, 58% of advertisers worked with 3 or more retail media networks. And in 2024, that increased to 77%. So there's people that are working with more and more channels. And actually, there's a graph in the report where it showed if you work with 1 or 2 retail media networks year over year, that number of people who are only working with 1 or 2 is shrinking. The number of people who are working with 3 plus is actually increasing a lot.
That's crazy.
So this, despite the big gaps in buyer needs from the retail media networks for figuring out things over the short term, like ROAS, but also incremental revenue over long term. And so there's a lack of clear standardized metrics across all retail media. You've got all these people that are entering in the market, and they've all got an offer, something to supply, but the standardization isn't there across all that, which I'm sure you know all too well.
Yeah.
So it's a big frustrating point across all the advertiser groups. And to compensate, everyone in the ecosystem is turning towards more tech to help solve the measurement problems. So retailers are investing more on a whole. 85% of them are planning to increase their measurement capabilities in the next 12 months. Also looking at majority, almost 3/4 are looking to expand their ad products. So there's more and more formats. Again, thinking about the influencer equation there, right? Getting more and more of those things produced and published is not easy. And then there's an interesting quote from the head of Google's local retail media, a guy named Raphael Hodes, who said this is an opportunity for a lot of the players in the space to do measurement, but get rid of last click and move away from everything being based off of a 24-hour sales cycle. So kind of interesting. Like it's almost like an opportunity to right the wrong. I don't know if that will happen, but it's interesting because it's harder to go the other way of figuring out incrementality, but it's interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. You know this about me. Like I'm genuinely fascinated about this space, and the reporting is the Achilles heel of that. I don't want to call it an industry of that discipline right now. And if you come to think about all the different models that we now have available through mature products and services like Google, Meta, etc., you can tell that this is still in its infancy because all of this other reporting, the reporting needs of these retail media networks, they're unique to each of them, right? It's because it's not standardized. Like Walmart's doing something different, Loblaws is doing something. I'm referencing Canadian companies here.
Sure.
Walmart obviously being global, but Canadian Tire, etc. So there's obviously I would argue it's ripe for a vendor to come in and kind of help with that standardization potentially. But what that also does, it actually also increases the cost of MarTech once again.
Totally.
So anyways, who's to say what this will look like over the next couple of years, but it's always going to get better. Yeah. But I think it only happens with some sort of standardization of sorts. Like
totally.
Yeah. Interesting. Good find.
Yeah. What do you got?
GenAI is coming for your commercials. I use my radio voice there.
I like it.
So here's a stat that jumped out this week. According to a new IAB report, nearly 90% of advertisers are either already using generative AI to build video ads or they're planning to do so.
Yeah.
And this isn't just future talk, pie in the sky. This is like, it's happening now.
Totally.
They're forecasting that by 2026, a full 40% of video ads will be created, at least in part, using GenAI, or if not in their entirety. And that includes everything from script writing to storyboarding, to editing, and even voiceover.
Yeah. And
there's a few things that are driving this. Brands are under pressure to produce more video faster. Budgets are getting tighter. We keep talking about that. GenAI offers speed, scale, and personalization without massive production overhead. Now, what's really interesting, though, is that you'd think that it'd be the bigger companies that are kind of being on that forefront of driving a lot of this innovation. It's the smaller mid-sized brands leading the charge here, because for them, GenAI helps them somewhat level that playing field.
Totally.
Right? And I think you've talked about this, would have been a couple months ago, where it does allow that barrier to entry right now is a lot easier. It's a subscription to one of the GenAI services that you want, right?
Yeah.
So one of the fastest growing areas is going to be connected TV.
Sure.
Brands experimenting with AI powered formats that are dynamic, interactive, and even somewhat shoppable. Some of them are even shoppable. Many of them also bringing CTV in-house, creating dedicated teams to optimize and create optimize ad creative and placement in that real time. So what is the shift that we're really seeing? Video advertising moving from being a high barrier to high cost production model to something programmatic, modular, and somewhat AI assisted. That changes the creative process. And we talked about that doing many of our can cut, like we're almost like moving in a different at a different speed that's going to disrupt this entire relationship that we would have traditionally with a lot of our AORs from a creative side, from a media side. It's coming. This thing is coming for our lunch, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised actually. The small businesses are leading the charge on this, because there's so many of them that are dying to try things. And so, invention or necessity is the mother of invention kind of idea. Like, they're the ones that want these big campaigns or cool looking ads, and they couldn't afford it before.
Yeah.
So for like whatever, $30 a month, you can get a subscription and produce a lot of cool stuff that you could never imagine before. Yep. So I totally get that. Also, on the other end, there's got enterprise that are sometimes locked out because of security reasons and privacy concerns. Totally get that. So in a way, it's almost because of the internal rules and systems that that companies have, that it's leaning towards the smaller, mid-sized companies that are driving this. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how. I mean, everybody's adopting AI everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Did you see the diss track from Popeyes against McDonald's?
No.
It's like an ad that they put out that was all, I think it was VO. I don't remember. Yeah. But it's like, it's a diss track. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, it's cool that we have these tools. Like, who knows what will happen? It's not easy either to use all these tools, because they don't produce the thing you want the first time around most of the time. So there's a lot of work and rework.
Prompt engineering is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Final story.
Okay.
Zoom.
Yeah, totally. The Brad Pitt's F1 movie. I'm just fascinated by. I heard him on Dax Shepard.
Oh, okay.
He was talking about the movie and just how it got made and all that kind of stuff. Great interview, super interesting. I'd never heard him on a podcast before. He's actually a really interesting guy.
We should have him on.
Yeah, we'll just send him the invite. He's probably on LinkedIn, right?
I'm sure there's a LinkedIn for actors.
Yeah. So far the movie's made $400 million. I think it cost them $200 million to make it. So they're doing okay so far.
They're fine.
As far as I could tell.
Yeah.
So I just found the marketing strategy really interesting. The reason he talked a little bit about it in the podcast, where they kind of, because it's an F1 movie, F1's a lot about sponsorship. They made up this fictitious car, or like it was a real car, but a fictitious team. And then they got real sponsors to sponsor the team. So that was part of like the movie sponsorship endorsement. So I think they made about $40 million. So anyway, I was doing some more work just to figure out how they rolled it out. So it's in partnership with Apple as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So they started with the product, and this is what he talked a lot about in that interview. So they had this fictitious team, but they actually had that team at the track at a few of the different F1 events throughout the year. And so they did I think the qualies or the prelims, a couple of laps.
Yeah.
Just to get the footage, real people, real racing, real competitors, all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting the way they did that. And it was really him driving the car in some cases. It was cool to hear how they did that. So it's just in terms of authenticity, there's like that element where it's really visceral.
Yeah.
Then in January, they launched a really visceral teaser at Super Bowl. It was almost no speaking. It was just more the sound of the engine created like this rumble kind of thing. The excitement of it. Then Apple, through their ecosystem, started doing rollouts. So like the App Store banners, the wallet push notification for a $10 discount via Apple Pay, sports and podcast apps, house exclusive Q&As with the TV and the Apple TV app, sort of haptic enhanced trailers that literally rattled people's phones. So that was kind of cool. Apple Maps did flyovers over some of the areas like Silverstone Spa. These are the courses. Hero trailers were timed to race weekends. They got, as I mentioned, $40 million in brand and team partnerships. There's one that I found when I was doing some research on this. I think it was Heineken for a James Bond movie. I can't remember which one, but they spent $140 million on a partnership just to be in the movie. There's like some big money there, which is really interesting. They did social storytelling and fan engagement, targeting a whole bunch of people from like gamers to F1 enthusiasts, where they did watch trailers or watch parties for trailers, followed by Q&A with like stunt coordinators.
Yeah.
Then they had event-driven buzz. Remember we were talking to the Jaguar, and they released Jaguar, the product, at one of the Paris Fashion Week. So they did something similar here, where there's a Met Gala helmet reveal. They had then the distribution once the movie finally came out. Warner Brothers handled all the cinema. Apple's doing all the post theatrical streaming rights. The release calendar avoided any kind of live Grand Prix, which is important because you don't want to split your fans' attention between having to choose between watching the Grand Prix and then going to see the movie. Totally. So I just thought it was a really interesting overview on how the campaign strategy worked together.
It would have been a great marketing moment, by the way.
Yeah, actually true. Yeah, true that. But you are doing the marketing moment this week.
I am. Before we quickly go there, I watched the movie in the theater.
Oh, you did? It was good?
It was good. It was good. There's parts of it I didn't understand, but the one thing you have to really appreciate is how they were able to capture the in-car and like the surrounding things. They had because they used an F2 car,
right? And
I think they created 5 different points where they had these 360 cameras. So there was a lot of shots in the movie that they were just panning. So like it would go from the driver to what does it look like on the racetrack, and it really gave you a completely unique view into the race itself. The sounds were incredible. It was really well done. I think the story arc could have been tweaked. Yeah. But other than that, it was really, really well put together.
Cool. Okay, so you got the marketing moment, the case study.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to talk about something that's kind of near and dear to my own heart. I wrote a piece for the CMA, right?
Oh, yeah, perfect. I love this. Yeah.
And we know that I've come on this podcast for the last 3 years, and I keep saying, I'm a reformed performance marketer, right? And I almost feel like I have to stop doing that, because there's a part of it that what we're not talking about is the evolution that performance marketing is either going through or should be going through.
Right.
So I've titled the piece like From Performance to Experience Marketing. Right. And because this is something that for me, I kind of live and breathe from a day-to-day perspective. I wanted to kind of just take a little time and break it down.
Yeah.
So I don't believe performance marketing is broken. It's just incomplete, and it's going through a transition or a transformation, if you will. For years, exclusively, we relied heavily on short-term performance metrics, albeit like ROAS, click-through rates, cost per lead, cost per site visits, etc. And of course, I'm not saying like these metrics don't matter, but I've come to believe that they started limiting how we define success of performance marketing platforms, right? So we've basically just over-engineered on the efficiency side, but we haven't engineered for experience. And I think this is where the evolution needs to happen. So one of the core arguments that people will make for performance marketing, it's like it shouldn't just be about an optimization. It should be about a meaning and trying to connect that connection with the consumer. You shared a report a couple of weeks ago in our last Barber's brief. Sorry, you weren't here to speak to it, but I spoke for you on it. And we're talking about personalization, right? In that report, they were talking about personalization and understanding the points of the journey that actually make sense. This really naturally moves into that performance marketing world really well. I believe what we've done is we've stopped engineering for those different moments of the consumer decision journey. And what we've done is just let the algorithms do what they need to do, because we're optimizing against a specific event, like a ROAS event or a click cost per lead, or a click, whatever.
Yeah.
So then the algo just goes and does that. But when we're thinking about, the cross-functional nature or the orchestration that's actually needed here, it's not just cross-channel integration, it's product, media, service, brand teams all need to work in sync to create these connected experiences that feel more human. I heard in a meeting the other day, obviously we overhear AI. A new thing coming is called HI, human intelligence.
Oh.
So we've branded our brains, I guess, now in some capacity. So applying that human intelligence will go a long way. So what is that new definition of performance? When we prioritize experience over efficiency, performance becomes a byproduct of connection, not just a conversion. So that's where I think the industry is headed. I think we need to hit the accelerator there, because you'll still see literature on LinkedIn in our industry that's still looking at, oh, look what this campaign was able to drive from an efficiency metric perspective. And we need to lean towards marketing that performs because it's meaningful, not just because it's measurable. And this is just going back to like the stuff that we learned at Cannes, right? Like, how do you create those unique experiences? And there's a whole slew of examples where, Nike, they did they created like a drop app for sneakerhead that spoke to a really niche audience, but it's become a must-have app for a lot of sneakerheads because there's a cultural relevance to it. Of course, the drop dates. So for me, it's really understanding your consumer based on the brand or service that you have, and start create authentic experiences around that, and start measuring that instead of just putting 25 cents in a machine and thinking you're actually getting $2 out of it. Where, in actuality, you've probably missed a whole bunch of measurement alongside of that. So the 5 practical implications for marketers, first off, is like, you have to find a way to break down those silos. This is nothing new, but we need to connect paid, owned, and earned media with CX, analytics, and product teams. We need to redesign measurement. So go beyond those last click metrics and ROAS. Consider journey quality, engagement depth. How do you start plugging in lifetime value as a part of your measurement as well? Get better to empower and empowering your teams. So build those hybrid talent that combines both media buying expertise with design thinking and behavioral science. And then partner strategically, rethink the agency and platform relationships or partnerships. It's not just about execution, but what's that shared experience delivery that's required on all sides. I'll obviously link the article in the show notes. I think as a collective and as an industry, we have to rethink what performance means and how we go about it, because it's not just lower funnel tactics anymore, or it shouldn't be.
Yeah. It's funny. It's a great article, Via. I read it. We talked about this off the podcast a few times, but it's a really good article. And I love the idea around just reframing performance. I think it's funny because I also had a conversation just recently with a client where we're talking exactly about that. Like, even on in terms of creative, right? You can put an ad into any kind of platform and it'll show numbers that, related to that ad, whatever the thing is that you're looking for. But that's part of the problem. If you're looking at, let's say you put an ad in that's optimized for reach, what does performance look like on that ad? Right. And then it's not just about the lowest cost per reach or the lowest CPC. Even things like if you were intentionally trying to position a company in a specific way, and that costs you a CPM of $3 more than other ads.
Great example. Yeah.
Is that the wrong thing to do? Is that poor performance just because the CPMs are worse? Probably not.
That's exactly it.
It's just, rather than thinking about, just the numbers. It's the, as you said, the meaning behind and the intention behind that we should be optimizing for.
We know we're becoming, as advertisers, we need to shift to more contextual advertising. We know that. So that's going to cost you more. So if you've always had CPM efficiency metrics or conversion metrics, etc., I'm sorry, you're going to have to toss those out the door. Those don't apply anymore. You have to start thinking like, I wanted to reach the Marcs of the world. So I need to make sure I'm investing in this type of content that marries to this contextual targeting on this side. That's going to cost me more, but I should get richer audiences, which should convert better.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like a chain of events that you have to think about what's being changed in that, in I guess almost in your architecture of measurement, getting to the desired outcome with, at the end of the day, the only thing we should be caring about is growth.
Yeah. True.
But we over-engineered on that, like remarketing side and trying to find that one-to-one. And I know you had a great post on just trying to, collect a lot of information on personalization and things to that effect. So I can't wait to see what you find out of that. That should be a marketing moment when you get around to that. But it's a big conversation.
It is. Yeah, we'll definitely have some more of this conversation come up in the fall for sure.
Guess what's next? Go for Marc.
Okay, so I found one, Ribena. I used to drink that all the time. I even now still buy it, and I love Ribena. It's so good. Anyway, Ribena, and I know you'll play this video. Inserted into the actual final recording here, but so they came out with a new campaign called "There's No Taste Like Home." Primarily British, I believe, but they had done a giant research project for 2 years looking at the customer journey. So it's the most comprehensive consumer insights journey research they've ever done. And they discovered that their blackcurrant flavor consistently evoked memories of growing up, particularly, and this is why I think it's relevant for the UK, particularly on staying in on a rainy day and drinking Ribena at home. I don't know, that was one of the insights they found. So they decided to launch or refresh the Ribena brand and help encourage shoppers to rediscover the brand. So they launched this campaign, which had a couple of brother-sister in a house sharing a glass of Ribena. And it triggers this memory they have from the scene of them being kids playing in the rain. It's this magical world where it starts raining inside and they start playing around in the house in the rain. And then the song is 99 Red Balloons or Luft Balloons, which definitely reinforces that nostalgic feeling for me, at least. And when I hear it, it totally brings me back to, it's funny how music does that. It's so powerful at bringing people back to moments.
100%.
Like I remember.
Great soundtrack too.
Yeah, totally. System 1 did some scoring. They found I got one of the highest possible scores. It was 5.9 among soft drink buyers. And then they also updated the packaging, which I thought was really interesting. And I have a picture of it here. It's great in the sense that they didn't really throw out the baby with the bathwater. They just refreshed it a little bit.
Refreshed it, yeah.
Yeah, made the blackcurrant stand out a bit more, made their logo stand out a bit more. So I think it's a really smart design because they kept a lot of their distinctive brand assets. Yeah. It just kind of made it a little bit more punchy, I would say.
Yeah, it's still very Ribena.
Yeah. So it really interesting. I don't know how it's going to do because the campaign just came out. But yeah, for me, I definitely had the effect of that nostalgic feeling of. Also, now I want to go buy some Ribena because I haven't had it in a long time and I want to go get some.
I love that.
Yeah.
Such a great example. Just watching it as you were kind of analyzing it, you can almost get. I've never had Ribena, so I can't relate to it. No, I haven't.
Oh, wow.
So I can't relate to it the same way you can, but I can relate to this whole, you're in a space, you're having something, you just reminiscing, or you think about a point in time in your life when you were younger, when you were doing things. So like that emotional connection is there. And yeah, it's a great ad. Ad.
Yeah.
Coming up next week,
V, what do we got?
Got Bob Park.
Yes.
Chief Brand Officer from G Appliances. And we met him at Cannes, actually. So we recorded the episode there. What a fascinating conversation.
Yeah. He's so smart, brilliant, intelligent, thoughtful.
From Alberta, baby.
Yeah. Even from, totally. Yeah. He's great. He's super interesting to talk to. And it's a great conversation for sure.
Yeah. Tune in next week for that episode. And with that, we've come to the end of this week's Barber's Brief.
It's very exciting. I'm very happy to be here again.
Well, man, it's great to have you.
Yeah.
These things just aren't the same without you. I gotta tell you.
I know. I had a couple experiences the same way with you, where it just wasn't quite the same thing. It felt like I was missing an arm, although now my arm is killing me. I'm trying to use a mouse.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Okay, man.
Well, thanks everybody.
Yeah, thanks for keeping us in your ears.
Tune in next time.
All right. Take care.